The Plum in the Golden Vase Original Version Chapter 8, Part 1, Looking Forward to the Lover and the Beautiful Lady's Ghost Divination. It is said that JinPingMei married Yulu at home, and Yaner was newly married, and they were like glue. I also met one sister-in-law, the emissary from Chen's house, who came to tell me that I was going to marry my eldest sister on June 12th. JinPingMei couldn't make a bed in a hurry, so he gave his eldest sister an Nanjing gold-painted bamboo bed brought by Mang Yulu. 3 days and 9 days. It was chaos for more than a month, and I never went to Pan Jinlian's house. The woman leaned against the door every day and looked through her. He sent Wang Po to look for him at the head of his door. The boy at the head of the door knew that it was Pan Jinlian who sent him, so he ignored him. The woman was looking forward to it. When her mother-in-law came back, she asked her daughter to look for her on the street. How dare that little girl enter his deep compound? He only looked around at the door, but JinPingMei came back without seeing him. When he came home, a woman scolded him in the face, blaming him for being useless and asking him to kneel down. I was hungry until noon and refused to eat with him. At this time, it was the dog days of summer, and the woman was suffering from fever, so she had to pay her child to go into the hot water and wait for him to take a bath. I made another basket of stuffed meatballs and waited for JinPingMei to come and eat. Wearing only a gauze shirt, he sat on a small stool, looking forward to JinPingMei's rival and scolding him a few times for being a traitor. Heartless and emotionless, I took off the red embroidered shoes from my feet with my delicate hands and tried to make a love sickness divination. It's exactly this. Don't dare to speak loudly when meeting people, and ask people who are far away to predict money secretly. There is evidence from mountain sheep. Ling Boluo socks were born naturally, and Hong Yun dyed the acacia hexagram. Like a lotus root sprouting buds, like a lotus unloading its flowers. Why are they so entangled? The wicker is now half-forked. He doesn't miss us. Why don't we miss him? Leaning against the door, whispering behind the curtain, Kong calls the slave under the quilt and calls him names, and scolds him. How can you love fireworks and not come to my house? Who can I teach you to draw? Where are the green poplars to tie the horses? He failed us. How could we ever fail him? The woman performed the acacia divination for a while, but she didn't feel sleepy, so she fell asleep on the bed. I woke up about an hour later, feeling unhappy. Yinger asked, after the water is heated, why don't you take a bath? The woman asked, is the jower steamed? Bring it to me to see. Yinger quickly took it to the room. The woman counted with her delicate hands and found that she originally made a cage with 30 corners. After turning it over and over, she counted only 29. Then she asked, where did that one go? Yinger said, I don't know. I didn't see it. I'm afraid my mother counted it wrong. The woman said, I've counted it twice, and it's 30 horns, waiting for your father to come and eat. How could you secretly eat one? What a coquettish and slutty slave. You are a glutton, and you want this horn in your heart. Let's eat. You can't put food in your big bowl or small bowl, so I'll be filial to you. He couldn't help but strip off the little girl's clothes and beat her 20 or 30 times with a horsewhip. Nizzy screamed like a pig, asking him, if you don't admit it, I will beat you hundreds of times. Nizzy became anxious and said, Mom, stop beating me. I was so hungry that I ate one. The woman said, you stole it. How can you rely on me to count wrongly? You look like a whore who is the boss of the prison and the bane of the prison. When you were here, you learned to accuse lightly, but where did you go today? You are still playing tricks in front of me. I'm just going to beat you, the prison slut, down to your lower body. After beating him once, he put on his clothes, let him stand up, and fanned him. He slapped her once and said, whore, please calm down and wait until I pinch your skinny face twice. That Nizzy was so relieved that the woman gave him to bloody cuts with her sharp nails before she let him go. After a long time, I walked to the mirror, ray-dressed, and stood under the curtain. By chance, Diane was riding a horse and hitting the woman's door as he passed by with a felt bag under his arm. The woman stopped and asked him where he was going. The young man was well-spoken and often walked with JinPingMei in the woman's house. The woman often interacted with him and became familiar with him. As he dismounted, he said, "My father asked me to send a favor to the garrison." The woman came in and asked, "What's going on at your father's house? Why don't you come over to see him? He must have found a sweet sister." Diane said, "My father has never married a sister again. It's just that the family has been busy these days, and he can't get away to see his sixth aunt." The woman said, "There's something going on at home. I've been there for half a month without any news. I just don't take it to heart." Because he asked Dan, "What's the matter? Tell me." The boy just laughed and refused to say anything. When the woman saw that Dan was smiling for a reason, she asked more tightly, "What's the matter, Dwan?" Dan smiled and said, "I just said it's something about Chun. What's wrong with sixth aunt just asking questions?" The woman said, "Okay, you little oily mouth, if you don't tell me, I will annoy you for the rest of my life." The boy said, "I told Aunt Six, and Six must not tell Dad that I said it." The woman said, "I will never tell him." In this way, Diane told her family about marrying Meng Yulu from beginning to end. The woman refused to listen. After hearing this, tears flowed down her cheeks. Diane panicked and said, "Sixth aunt, you are so narrow, so I won't tell you." The woman leaned against the door, let out a long sigh, and said, "Diane, you don't know how the kindness I had with him in the past has been thrown away today." I couldn't help but shed tears one after another. Diane said, "Sixth aunt, why are you doing this? My mother doesn't care about him at home." The woman then said, "Diane, listen to me. Kiao Kai is evil and won't come for a month." The slaves embroidered the Mandarin duck quilt and stayed in the open for 30 nights. His pretty heart is different from mine, and my infatuated heart is dull. The difference makes me very hot. As the saying goes, easy to get, easy to give up. Xing means passing. Yuan means dividing. After saying that, he cried again. Dan said, "Sixth aunt, please stop crying. I'm afraid it's not just these 2 days for my dad, but his birthday is coming too. Write a few words and I'll take them to you. After reading them with my dad, you'll definitely have a good time. Come," the woman said, "I must be tired of you," so I invited him to come. "Tomorrow, I will make a pair of good shoes for you to wear. I will also wait for him to come here and live with him. If he doesn't come, he will be in trouble with you." On the body, after saying that, Ling Yinger put the steamed corner off the table on a plate and sent Diana to have tea. While walking into the room, he took out a piece of flower paper, picked up a jade tube, played with wool, and after a while, wrote a poem Parasite Grass. The word says, "I will send this intimate message to my slave with a flower note and send it to him. I remember when I had black silk hair, I leaned under the curtain and suffered some undisturbed fright. You have betrayed your slavish heart and refused to return my fragrant luopa." After writing it, he folded it into a feng shanger, sealed it, and gave it to Dan to collect it, saying, "At least pay more to him. On his birthday, be sure to come and go. I'm here to keep an eye on you." Na Diane ate some snacks, and the woman gave him dozens of coins. Before going out and mounting a horse, the woman said, "When you see your father at home, tell your sixth aunt not to scold you. If he doesn't come, tell your sixth aunt that she will come tomorrow in person in a sedan chair." Diane said, "Sixth aunt, I thank you." The noodle seller bumped into the barbarian who was complaining about injustice. Ma Fan's tent. After that, he went on horseback. The woman waited long and short every day, like a stone sinking into the sea. July is coming to an end and it's his birthday. This woman waited for a day, like 3 autumns, and waited for a whole night like midsummer, but there was no news. Unconsciously, the silver teeth are biting secretly, and the stars are flowing. In the evening, I had to call Po Wang again, range wine and meet with him. Pull out a gold-hatted silver hairpin and give it to him, and go to Ximen King's house to invite him. Wang Po said, "This morning or evening, before tea or after drinking. He will definitely not come. I'll invite him to come as soon as possible tomorrow." The woman said, "Godmother, you must remember it. Don't forget it." The old woman said, "I am in charge of what kind of business, and I am willing to miss the job." This old woman can only do it with money, so she got this hairpin. After eating, my face turned red and I went home. Let's say that the woman was in the room, with a fragrant mandarin duck quilt and a silver lamp, unable to sleep, sighing and sighing. Exactly, I have to play the pipa diligently for a long time at night, but I can't bear to play it in a lonely and empty room. So I played the pipa alone and sang my intaksu. Who would have thought that you had another hairpin? The slave was so angry that he seemed drunk and infatuated. He leaned against the screen and deliberately gasped, not understanding. Why throw it away? I sent letters and letters, but you didn't come. If you betray the kindness of a slave, people will not bring disasters out of enmity. The woman tossed and turned all night and never fell asleep. At dawn, he sent Yinger to ask, "Go across the wall and see if Grandma Wang has invited your father?" Not long after Yinger left, he said, "Grandma Wang has gone out a long time ago."
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.